this story time. So I'm going to jump straight into this. This is a story time about the time that I accidentally kissed 3 guys in one night. So let me give you a little bit of backstory here. I grew up in a very, very small town, and in this town there was this one guy that, you know, he had this cool farm, he had the looks, he had the money, you know, he was like this mysterious kind of guy. Nobody knew nothing about him. He had Instagram, but he posted like nothing. And he had all of these cool friends weekends where he would have like all of his college buddies. You also did not just have his number. When you had his number, you were like, people knew you had his number. So I got his number from someone else and said I wanted to ask him if I could buy dogs from him because they sold dogs. So I asked him, he gave me an answer, blah. Later that weekend, I decided to post like, you know, a pretty picture on my status. And he replied on it, and we just had like this conversation. There was a bit of flirtation, you know. I knew this was going somewhere. And also, I think this worked because, listen, when I was 17, I had some things going for me. I had a body going for me, and my face was also something that I had going for me, okay? And so we started speaking, and then he invited me to one of these weekends with all of these friends. And I was like, okay, you know, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go for this weekend. I knew something was about to happen. And with something, I mean just a makeout, guys. I am still really strong in my religion, so just a makeout session, like a good makeout session. And so I went to this weekend, and I was like excited. I was like, okay, this is the guy, you know, the one that's like famous in the small town basically, and like every girl wants a piece of him, and like, you know, and he invited me out. So I get there, super shy at first. He welcomes me, he's like, takes me up to my room, you know, they had like a 2-story house, and like, this is your room, you're gonna sleep, blah blah blah. And I'm like, thank you. I put down my bags, and he's just like standing there like, we start talking, and then 2 of his other college buddies come up. They just stand there, and you know, now it's like a casual friends conversation. So we all go downstairs, and so we started broing. With the night came, we started partying, and I saw him chatting up this other girl that was there. And then they both disappeared for like, I would say probably a good hour. And I was like, no, this is not gonna work. So this guy, we're going to dub him Pete, and then the second guy, we're going to dub him John, and the third guy we will dub Bradley. So Pete and this girl, they go off for like an hour. I'm like, no, this is not gonna work for me. Like, I know we're not dating, but like in one night, are you kidding me? In one night, 2 people, that's not how it works. Little did I know. And so they disappear, and now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move to a new prospect. I'm going to move to John, okay? Because John is already flirting with me the whole time. So John and I go, we sit behind the bar, we're like chatting, flirting, he's saying something, that he touches my leg, and you know, I'm, you know, partying, so I have a little bit of confidence, and I'm like, you know, if you want to touch my leg the whole time, you can just place your hand on it and you know, like touch it the whole time. This is where Bradley comes in. Bradley was behind the bar, he was serving everyone drinks, and so then Bradley comes, he stands behind the bar, and he has a conversation with me and John. So we just have like a normal conversation. And then Bradley casually brings up, you know, do I have a bucket hat, blah, blah, blah. It was in South Africa. This was a huge thing when I was in high school. And so I was like, of course I have one. It's in my bag. And he was like, okay, yes, one as well. Like, I'm going to get mine. We're going to take a picture. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I run upstairs to the room, open my bag, and I'm like, in my bag, trying to get the hat. Come up. What do I see in the door waiting? This is what I see. And I'm like, not gonna work for me because, you know, and so I dodge him, you know, I'm like underneath his arm, I'm like, let's go take a picture. We walk down the corridor, he like speaks to me, I'm like, yeah. As I'm going on my way to go down the stairs, take my first step down the stairs, I feel the following. Ugh.
Let me be clear. There's only one thing that's important to me, and it's not friendship. It's dominance.
I feel a hand coming, getting my neck, turning me around, kissing me. I'm like this in the kiss because I'm like, what is happening right now, Bradley? Because I did not read any of these signals. Bradley was like there behind the bar. You could see John having his hand on my leg. So I push back and I'm like, I'm gonna say nothing. I literally said like, I'm not gonna say anything. And I turned around and I just walked down the stairs. And we went and we took a picture. I go sit next to John again and I'm like, all right, I can't believe what just happened. But John is still interested. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let this chance slip just because Bradley came in right now. And so I'm with John, I'm talking to John, we're flirting, you know, it's going on. And so eventually I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I go upstairs, go to the bathroom, open the bathroom door, there's John. So, hot little makeup stage right there. We both go back down, we continue chatting with everyone. continue partying. I would probably say like a half hour later, John is like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now. I'm like, okay, and I'm sitting, and he's like, turns around to me, and he's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm catching what you're putting down. I'm catching what you're throwing out. And so, my gut stage number 2. But then John sort of passed out after that because he was a little bit up to speed at the parties. But I went back downstairs because I was like, okay, now the night's over, like for prospects, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the night with the friends. It was like other girls and blah, blah, blah. And so eventually Pete comes back with this girl he was away with for an hour. And now everyone's chatting, potting, and everyone starts going, one going to sleep, blah, blah, blah. And we go sit at the fireplace, me and Pete, and some other girl, we're going to call her Maria, and one of Pete's friends. And so I go sit down, Pete comes and sits next to me, Maria and the friend sits opposite of us. Pete goes and he takes a blanket, he throws it over my legs, over his legs. I'm like, okay, he knows it's cold. It was winter. And then I feel under the blanket on my knee. And I get a little side eye and I'm like, sitting there frozen. I'm in a chat with Maria. I'm like, okay, Maria catches what he's putting down. She can catch, him putting his hand on my kneecap. And so Maria gets jealous because here's what I didn't know. Maria and him had like a little thing. Not a thing, but like every single weekend they would meet up. They would, have a little spice time. So Maria had like a thing for him, but he was not, like a serious relationship guy. This much I picked up. And so she, got a little, I could see it. And so she started talking about him, like sending her pictures and showing like us pictures about this picture he sent her of him like without a shirt in his room while he's cleaning his room, blah, 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 which actually so cringe. And I was like, okay, I'm catching what's going on here. There's like a vibe here. Anyways, I'm not interested in Pete anymore because he obviously is like a huge like man bag. So no, it's not gonna work. And I take the blanket off my knees, he moves his arm, and I'm like, okay guys, I'm gonna go to sleep, I'm gonna go shower, go sleep, you guys can like enjoy yourself. Go upstairs, take a shower, come out of the shower, go into the room, and I feel like this room is cursed, this room and this bathroom, because it's every single time. Go into the room, who's sitting on the bed? Pete. Wait, is it Pete? Yeah, Pete, sitting on the bed. No, he just wants to chat. I'm like, okay, let's chat for like 10 minutes because I'm actually like tired. At this point, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I just sit at the feet of the bed. We're chatting for like 5 minutes. Then Maria and this other guy comes up. So now I'm sitting on the bed. Maria and this guy goes and sits on the other bed and we talk for 5 minutes. And Pete goes and he says to this other guy, didn't you say you and Maria were supposed to like take one last shot together? And he was like, oh yeah, he's catching what he's throwing down. He's trying to get them out of the room. And so Maria says it in, obviously, because Maria's like, no. They leave. I'm like, this is awkward, very awkward. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna sleep now, I'm like really tired. And he's like, okay, but he still wants to speak to me. He goes, grabs my face. And at this point, I'm like, what is happening? Because, I went with a simple goal, one prospect, it didn't work out, so I shifted simply to another prospect that I saw that was interested. Because also, just remember, I freshly came out of a relationship then, which was really, really bad for me. And I was really emotional because I really poured my whole heart into this relationship. And so I was like kind of in that mind space of, I don't want a boyfriend, I don't want anything serious, but like, I'm fine with one makeout session, but like one, because like, I still have standards. And so, in my face, and we like go out of each other and I'm like, okay, like now I'm really gonna sleep. Like this is getting out of hand. I go to sleep. The next morning I wake up, so I'm in the single bed and in the double bed next to me is Maria and this other guy. And I'm laying in bed, I'm chilling, and we hear like a knock on the door. We're like, yo, come on in. It's Pete and John, both bringing me coffee. Now, they didn't tell each other they're planning on bringing me coffee. They just made coffee and said they should come to our room. None of them told each other we're going to bring me coffee. So I'm like awkward, laying in bed like, I'm like, yeah, thank you for the coffee, yeah. I could see immediately that they both understood quite quickly what went down. And so they left the room. I drank the coffee, quick, got up, got dressed, and in 2 hours I went home because I felt like I had to do the walk of shame, even though it was like nothing like that at all also, and it was like not me. It was not me. Like, am I crazy for thinking this is not my fault? This was like not me. I went with one prospect, So yeah, that was a crazy time in my life. I was about 17 years old. Also, I have like way more crazy stories like this. I actually met, and this I think I will do. Let me know if you guys would like another story time. But how I met my husband was in a love triangle. So yeah, this is actually really, really crazy. But I thought I would just give you guys a little story time.